How to fix defeated lords not being captured in Mount and Blade EI. Bannerlord. Welcome back to Tenebalta. During our deep dive into the campaign mechanics of Mount and Blade Roman II, Bannerlord, we noticed a recurring gameplay anomaly. Many players execute perfect battlefield strategies, only to find that defeated enemy lords mysteriously escape capture. Tenebalta's technical team has thoroughly investigated the game's core files, random number generation scripts, and battle resolution engines to bring you the definitive guide on resolving this issue. Here are our proven, comprehensive methods to ensure those slippery nobles end up safely secured in your prisoner train. Gameplay mechanics and tactical adjustments. Maximize the power differential in combat. Our internal testing confirms that there is no absolute rule guaranteeing the capture of a lord after a victory. Tenebalta discovered that inflicting a disproportionately heavy defeat on the enemy forces significantly increases your chances of capturing them. The underlying game mechanics heavily rely on random chance, so overwhelmingly outnumbering the opponent is your best baseline strategy. Disable hero death in campaign options. During our configuration analysis, we found that having the hero death module enabled can sometimes convert a potential capture event into a fatal casualty script. Navigate to your campaign difficulty settings and temporarily disable the birth and death mechanics. This forces the game engine to calculate a knockout rather than a kill, increasing overall capture probabilities. Equip companions with blunt weapons. Tenebalta's combat diagnostics reveal that fatal damage types like piercing and cutting often trigger the AI escape script instead of the capture loop. By equipping yourself and your primary companions with maces or blunt weaponry, you guarantee that the final blow inflicts a non-lethal knockout. This straightforward loadout change actively manipulates the post-battle variables in your favor. Avoid the auto-resolve feature. We ran extensive simulations comparing simulated battles to manual field engagements. Our data clearly shows that the auto-resolve function utilizes a simplified calculation that heavily favors lord escapes to balance the global map dynamics. Always enter the battlefield manually to retain full control over the capture scripts and enemy routing behavior. Optimize the roguery skill tree. While investigating the character progression files, Tenebalta identified several hidden modifiers tied to the roguery skill. Leveling this tree not only increases your post-battle loot, but also slightly adjusts the background modifiers dictating prisoner management. Invest focus points here to force the game engine to respect your capture attempts. Monitor your party prisoner capacity. Our system monitoring flagged numerous instances where lords escaped simply because the player's prisoner limit was completely maximized. Before engaging a noble army, always execute, donate, or ransom low-tier prisoners at a nearby tavern. Leaving an open data slot in your party array ensures the lord has a physical space to occupy in the user interface. Target the lord personally during skirmishes. Our tactical analysis demonstrates that if an enemy lord manages to retreat off the map edge, the game engine automatically flags them as escaped regardless of your victory. To counter this, Tenebalta recommends aggressively hunting down the enemy commander yourself during the initial cavalry clash. Securing a direct, personal takedown prevents the artificial intelligence routing script from activating. Evaluate the tactic skill for better odds. If you absolutely must use the auto-resolve function, our research indicates that a low tactics skill actively penalizes your capture rates. Assign a dedicated tactician companion to lead your forces in simulated battles to offset this heavy penalty. This minimizes the negative variables the game uses when calculating the aftermath of a massive conflict. Inspect the enemy faction's desperation level. Tenebalta's campaign tracking tool revealed an interesting behavioral quirk within the game's intelligence. Factions that are down to their last few settlements have a coded desperation modifier that artificially buffs their lord's escape chances. To neutralize this engine behavior, focus on capturing their remaining fiefs rather than repeatedly fighting their scattered field armies. Upgrade the medicine skill to prevent unintended casualties. The medicine skill does not just save your troops. Our testing confirmed it also affects enemy survival rates when dealing heavy blows. A high medicine skill ensures that the enemy lord is registered as wounded, rather than triggering a complex escape fallback event. Keep an experienced surgeon in your clan to optimize these background calculations. Technical troubleshooting and engine fixes. Verify integrity of game files on Steam. Occasionally, the compiled code responsible for end-of-battle calculations becomes corrupted during standard background updates. Tenebelta highly recommends right-clicking the game in your Steam library, navigating to installed files, and selecting the verification option. This forces the platform to redownload any broken XML files governing prisoner mechanics. Isolate and disable incompatible overhaul mods. During our extensive modification compatibility checks, we found that popular overhauls frequently rewrite the core capture logic. If you are experiencing an abnormal escape rate, disable all gameplay-altering modifications immediately via the launcher. Run a pure vanilla session to verify if a third-party script is overriding the vanilla capture parameters. Correct your mod load order. If your playthrough requires community modifications, Tenebelta's technical team advises strictly managing your launcher load order. Ensure that fundamental dependency modules like Harmony, UI Extender X, and Butterlib are positioned at the absolute top of the list. Improper sequencing directly corrupts the memory addresses where capture events are processed. Clear the game's compiled shader cache. While seemingly unrelated, we discovered that severe microstutters during the post-battle summary screen can cause the script to skip essential logic gates. Navigate to the program data folder on your local drive and completely delete the Mount and Blade Roman 2 shader cache. This forces a clean rendering pipeline, ensuring that the interface accurately records your captured lords. Update your graphics display drivers. Following up on interface lag, outdated display drivers can cause the victory screen to timeout before it fully processes the prisoner array. Tenebelta insists on performing a clean installation of the latest NVIDIA or AMD drivers. Stabilizing your frame times directly stabilizes the complex calculations occurring in the background. Check for conflicting background applications. Our diagnostic logs captured multiple events where aggressive antivirus heuristics quarantine the game's temporary save data immediately after a battle. Add the entire Bannerlord installation directory to your security software's active exclusion list. This guarantees that the game engine can freely write the updated prisoner status to your active campaign file. Utilize the developer console for debugging. If the engine absolutely refuses to yield prisoners despite crushing victories, Tenebelta suggests activating the developer console via the engine configuration files. Once enabled, you can use specific campaign commands to force an immediate refresh of the current map entities. This acts as a manual override to reset glitchy artificial intelligence behaviors. Roll back to a previous game version. The developers frequently push hotfixes that inadvertently break nuanced campaign formulas. If you recently updated the game and immediately noticed lords escaping constantly, use the Steam Beta Participation tab to revert to the previous stable patch. Our testing confirmed that this is often the most reliable method for bypassing fresh engine bugs. Delete and recreate the configuration folders. Sometimes the issue stems from corrupted user preference files stored deep within your local documents folder. Tenebelta advises completely deleting the Bannerlord configuration directory and allowing the game to generate a fresh one upon the next launch. This flushes out any faulty parameters that might be confusing the post-battle logic processor. Start a fresh sandbox campaign. As a final, definitive troubleshooting step, our developers noted that campaign saves from older versions often carry forward broken executable scripts. If none of the technical or gameplay adjustments resolve the anomaly, you must initiate a brand new sandbox run. A pristine save file guarantees that all character and capture variables are properly initialized by the current engine build. Don't forget to follow Tenebalta for more.